Okay, how's it going? I don't know how close to get or how far away to stay from the camera, but I'm gonna talk about the movies that I've got over the last month. It's not the end of the month yet, but the rest of the movies that I've ordered will not be here probably till February or well into the next month. Like I ordered something on eBay last week that probably won't be here till the middle of February, so I figure may as well just get this month's out of the way. I always do this as a bit of like a time capsule for myself so I can come back and see, oh, that's when I got this movie. That's when I got this. So I hope that kind of makes sense. So let's get into it. Napoleon Dynamite. It's never been my favorite movie, but I used to go to an orthodontist when I was younger, and this was always playing. So it kind of just became something that I enjoyed just by sitting there for an hour or so before I get, whatever, my teeth done. And Uncle Rico became one of those characters that I always think about. The over-the-hill guy that just can't let go of his past. He's talking about all these things that you just know are so beyond blown out of proportion. He's not really this jock that he's talking about like he is, but you just enjoy the fact that you all know somebody like an Uncle Rico who talks about his past. And you've got Kip, who's a very weird, eccentric brother that talks to some black chick online and ends up getting married. Bizarre. And then Napoleon himself is just this weird guy that's somehow likable. It's a very weird movie. Like, I wouldn't usually like a movie like this. It's very almost pretentious. But I kind of enjoy it. I can't explain it. That's my boy. And I saw this when I was 11. So this really hit home for me. When I saw the hot teacher and him, I was like, oh my god. Like, we all, when we were young, had the fantasy of the hot teacher. Don't lie to yourself if you're a young boy at some point. And this movie is just that I like it. I can't lie. I like that this is the only movie that I'm aware of where Adam Sandler is like super vulgar. He swears every scene. I wish he did more of these types of comedies.
Keep that lid for me. Take my fucking shoes. Wear them if you want. Somebody's hammered. They have another guy drive home. I was 8. You fucking drove like a champ, too. Huh? A Jedi with the chicks. Went down on girls for a wicked long time because he was a giver.
Oh, I wish I could have met him.
It's a shame that he never did. It's too late now. He's in his late 50s and he's doing legacy sequels and stuff, so it's probably too late, but I will always have a very soft spot in my heart. I've seen this movie maybe the most of any of his movies besides Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison. And Andy Samberg's pretty funny in this too. Speaking of Adam Sandler, just go with it. So I think I have 10 of his movies on DVD now. I think I only need about 4 or 5 left to really round off the movies that I want from his catalog of films. I've always really liked this. Again, you're watching an Adam Sandler movie just to turn your brain off. You're not watching this to get some life-changing experience. I like to watch these movies from the mid to early 2010s to mid to late 2000s where I just feel like I'm a kid again. I watched this so many times on I don't remember how this ended up in my house. Somebody brought this over when I was 10 or 11 when this was a DVD for the first time. And it just got left in my house. So I rewatched this all the time. This is one of those movies I just kept rewatching. And Nick Swardson is probably the best part of this, as Dolph Lundgren.
You're killing him! Flagging flesh in the Vasken!
Hilarious stuff. And Jennifer Aniston was really smoking back then. The Saint. Now, people had pumped this up. Like, my dad loves Val Kilmer, and I love Val Kilmer. So I'd always kind of had a little bit of anticipation in my mind for this film, and it really was bad. I didn't really realize how bad until I watched it, and let's just say I'm not going to be rewatching this very often. I'm sure I will at some point to try and give it another chance, because like I said, I love Val Kilmer, Tombstone and Top Gun, and the list goes on. Heat. I love Val Kilmer performances. I'm having a stroke like he was in the movie where his characters just sounded like they're stupid. His European accent was so bad.
My name is Thomas More. I was named after a saint.
It was terrible. Elizabeth Shue is so cute in this movie, though. She really steals the movie, of course. But it just, like, I love Val Kilmer, and so to see him act so shit was just kind of jarring. I've never seen him this bad. Even as Bruce Wayne, he was better than this. It was just very off-putting, and he won a Razzie, so I mean, he was... people really knew how bad this was, and obviously in time, they've gotten way worse in the film industry. So this is bad, but I'm sure it's still 10 times better than anything coming out today. I don't watch new movies, so I couldn't tell you. But this, to me, seems like a lower tier Val Kilmer film, which is a shame. It's nice to own it nonetheless, in case I change my mind. Blow. Now, this is a movie I swear to God I thought I owned. Like, I am so certain I've owned this at least twice. I don't know what happened. I've owned this very copy at least once or twice with the silver DVD. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's just in my imagination because I've seen this so many times at different stores that I just envisioned that I owned it. I don't know, but now I do. Gotta rewatch this movie, but I do enjoy it. It's a very dark and seedy film, and Penelope Cruz is good in it. So I honestly couldn't tell you the outline of this movie. I've seen it. I really had. Just for some reason, it's all eluding me. It's bad. This is why I stopped watching a movie every day. Yeah, you do that, and the movies will very quickly fall away from your memory, and you won't even remember if you watched it or not. All right, get that off the top. I hate when people leave the. Put this over there. If it just gets off my fingers. So, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Another movie that I've just kind of been waiting to get on Blu-ray, but I finally just, whatever. I found it for a couple dollars, and it's in good enough shape. It's pretty much new. Be nice if the case was closed. It's probably one of my favorite Coen Brother movies. Definitely one of my most rewatched ones, where I just on loop for some reason. After I watched it in film class in high school, it didn't really resonate, and then I left high school and I watched it again, and it really just clicked with me. And yeah, like I said, one of my favorite Coen Brother movies, so I'm probably going to rewatch this soon. I love these. Pete, it's me, Delmar. Classic. It's one of the more quotable movies. Triple X. I could have swore I'd seen this movie when I was a kid or something, but I guess I hadn't, because I watched it and none of it was really that familiar to me. So, yeah, it was an okay action movie directed by the guy who made the first Fast and Furious movie. It's nothing special. You don't watch these types of movies going in thinking, man, I'm going to watch the biggest movie of 2002. I knew what I was going to see with Triple X, and that's what I got. It was an entertaining action movie with a really bad story, and sexy women, and cool stunts, and we don't have movies like this anymore. So, I can't really hate on it, because it was fun. Deep Impact. So now we're into the Blu-rays. I liked it. I like parts of it. I like Elijah Wood pretty much in everything. The Faculty, Lord of the Rings, The Good Son. I like Elijah Wood. It's just the rest of the movie for me wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I don't know if that makes sense. And I just prefer Armageddon. I prefer the action. Like, I know it sounds stupid. I prefer that cast. Something about it, just this to me felt like a more hollow version of, I know it's ridiculous, this is the drama one, and this is the one everybody claims to be the better movie, but it says PG on the back, so that already, I don't know if Armageddon's PG, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like there's swearing and shit in there. This to me just felt like a very watered down version of Armageddon, and even the flooding and the destruction at the end didn't seem that real. Like, I know it was in the 90s, but you don't see a lot of people getting swept away or anything. You don't see a lot of because it's PG, so they're trying to keep it very tame. So to me, I don't know, it was, and Morgan Freeman wasn't a very great president to me, so it wasn't that great. I don't know if I needed to own this, but I couldn't find another way to buy or to watch it anywhere else, and I'd never seen it, so I bought it for like $8. It's okay. I still would much rather watch Armageddon, and that's very rare. I don't usually pick Michael Bay movies over a more drama type film, but it just didn't do it for me. I don't know what to tell you. The Wizard of Oz, one of the most classic movies. We're off to see The Wizard.
We're off to see The Wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
We've all seen this in some form or another, whether you've seen the actual movie or not. You've probably seen a parody of one of your favorite shows doing an episode where they do a Wizard of Oz type episode. Like, I remember the Sweet Life on Deck when I was a kid did a Wizard of Oz episode, and that was sort of my introduction. So seeing that when I was 9 or 10, I was like, oh no, I gotta go watch The Wizard of Oz because it seems interesting. And I've always kind of liked this movie. Again, at the orthodontist when I was a kid, this was one of those things that was kind of always playing. Wizard of Oz, Napoleon Dynamite, like those types of easy to consume content. And these are the types of movies that are always playing everywhere because the people, they've all seen it. So you sit down, you watch The Wizard of Oz, you can just relax, get lost in the land of Oz, and not think too much. You see the common theme with a lot of my movies. It's nice escapism. I don't like to watch too many thinking man's movies. They're not my... I mean, I have a shelf back there. The middle's mostly thinking man movies. That's great for certain occasions. But for me, I just like getting transported into a different world. That's the whole point of the movie for me. Lucky Number 11. If you've never seen this, I just recommend go watch this. This is one of the last good Bruce Willis performances for me, personally. And again, Morgan Freeman's in this. And if you're like, oh, Ben Kingsley, that was the other guy I was forgetting. And Josh Arnett, I'm sad that he kind of disappeared for 10 to 15 years because I feel like we missed out on a lot of Josh Arnett movies that could have been. He's a very good actor. And he's got like the charisma, the acting shot, all of that. I love him in Halloween H2O. And I really like him in, so I'm kind of just in The Faculty. I'm sad that he's just not in more stuff. And Virgin Suicides. He's just good in everything I've seen him in. So please, go see Lucky Number 11. This was one of those finds. I'm glad I found it. I've never seen this anywhere else on Blu-ray, so I'm glad I found that. So this is a thinking man's movie, sort of, I guess. Midnight Express. This is one of my favorite prison movies, if not my favorite. This might even be better. Okay. Might be a better movie than Shawshank. It's not more rewatchable, but front to back, I think this is probably a little bit better of a movie. Especially the scene with Rifki, that whole scene, everybody's seen that scene where he's destroying the sink setup and all of that to get to Rifki. We've all seen that scene a million times, whether you've seen the movie or not. And then he bites his tongue out and he starts screaming animalistically. That's one of the best scenes in film history, in my opinion. And we just don't get shit like that anymore. It's so real. You feel like you're watching a real scene from a prison, and it's... Oh, I love this movie. I love how dark and gritty and seedy, and it's just so gross. There's not too many movies that get this disgusting. And, the way where he's sleeping at the end... where you've got all those people in one big area, and it's just so gross. It's, when he breaks out, you don't feel this way for too many movies. When he breaks out, you feel pure relief. When he kills the guy, smacks his head against the wall, impales his head, you're like, yes, get out of there, run, run, run. He gets the cop uniform on, he's gone. That guy drives past him, the cop drives past him, and you have that moment of, is the cop going to notice that he didn't notice, he's free. And it's just one of those amazing feelings. Star Trek Beyond. I gotta rewatch all of the newer Star Trek movies. I don't know if I really mentioned in my last Blu-ray video, which is like 4 or 5 days ago. I only needed 2 Star Treks remaining. I need the original motion picture, which I'm in no rush to get. I've heard a lot of even Star Trek enthusiasts say you can skip that one. And Star Trek Beyond, which was the one that I saw this at the store the other day for $40, and I was like, yeah, I can't do that. I just can't. So I got this for $9 today at a different store. And I'm going to rewatch all 3 of the newer movies now. It's been probably 5 to 10 years since this came out in 2016. I haven't seen this since in the theaters. I still remember it pretty well, but I could use a nice little rerun of it in my mind. And this is Justin Lin, the guy who made Fast 3 to 6. I'm really good with Fast and Furious trivia. It's my favorite, I guess. One of my favorite franchises. You only live twice. I don't really got much to say about James Bond movies. I just collect these because I'm trying to get all of them individually. I need 3. Octopussy, A View to a Kill, and Diamonds Are Forever. Those are my last 3. So I had to get one from England here. You can see they always have the extra little things on the bottom because they're in a communist country, basically, where they have to control their people, and it's ridiculous. So over here, you don't see I've always hated that about Australia's got it real bad, where if you buy a movie from there, it's got like warning labels all over it. They don't trust their people, and it's very scary. So on Her Majesty's Secret Service, not one of my favorite James Bonds by any means, but I think Lazenby is a pretty decent Bond, all things considered. It's just he's only Bond once, so people kind of just forget that he's even James Bond whatsoever. It came out at a really good time, the swinger era, 1969, so you get that swinger vibe. And I really like that Austin Powers leaned into this movie a lot. Like the suits that Austin wears feel a lot like the ones that he wears in this one. So I kind of like that. The Breakfast Club. I had to finally get around. Like I was with my friend today, and he's like, "You can upgrade the Breakfast Club? Then you already own that." You just don't get it. If you don't like the Breakfast Club, you don't get why you need to upgrade this from DVD to Blu-ray. But this movie means so much to me. I watched this the summer going into high school, so I was 14. And it hit perfect. Hit just at the right time of my life where I could understand what was going on. If I watched this any earlier, I don't think this movie would have sunk in. It wouldn't have connected the same way. So I'm so glad I watched it when I did. And this cast to me is just perfect. I love this movie. John Hughes has a very special place in a lot of our hearts. If you like movies, this, Weird Science, Uncle Buck, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Ferris Bueller, like so many of his movies. Oh, just... I wanna be an airport ranger. Love it. Evil Dead 2. Now, I had to buy... I don't love Evil Dead 2 or 1. I gotta give it another chance, and this was $15. Anywhere else I've seen this, it's $40+. So I had to dip my foot into the Evil Dead 2 pool and buy it. I'll probably get the first one eventually. I own Army of Darkness. I own a 2013 remake, so I was like, I gotta get this. And it's a lot of the good stuff from this they kind of reused in Army of Darkness anyways, and same with the first movie. A lot of the good stuff from that they reused in this. So Evil Dead, you've seen one, you've mostly seen them all, kind of, sort of. They get goofier as they go along. But I'll give this another shot. I love Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies, and so, I'll get around to it. They Live. My favorite horror movie ever, or not horror movie, third. I think it was third or fourth. It's my favorite John Carpenter movie, and it's my favorite, just commentary on where we're at. Like, I know people say that a lot, and it sounds hipsterish to say, but I feel like there is more truth to what's going on in this movie than we really think. I'm not saying that there's creepy aliens with weird skeleton faces that are controlling our world. Probably are, but I think that a lot of the commentary on where we're at with society, like, let me try and get this out properly. So Keith David is more aware. Like, he works this shitty job, and he's aware of it. And you've got Roddy Piper, who is just okay with being the everyman. You just got to work till you catch your break. That's how it works here in America. And Keith David gets it right away. He's like, I want to give a key to one of their fancy foreign fucking cars. He gets that it's all about the rich guys making more money and the little guys making even less and going down the totem pole, and like, they're homeless, and he still can't see how wrong the world is. And I like that it takes him getting glasses to realize how fucked up everything really is.
This one, real fucking ugly. Oh. You see, I take these glasses off, she looks like a regular person, doesn't she, huh? Put them back on, formaldehyde face. That's what we got.
That's enough out of you. You get out or I call the cops.
And the power dynamic's always been backwards. And we, as the audience, learned this with him, I guess, because not a lot of people probably realized in the 80s how fucked up and corrupt and crazy everything around them was. But now we are more aware, in today's society, the Biden regime, not to get political, but we're more aware of, corruption, pardoning, and stuff like the things you don't really think about. Okay, I guess I'll show Prometheus first. So Prometheus, push this off long enough, and I need to rewatch this as well. I saw this in theaters when I was 11, 12, whenever this came out, 2012, so I would have been 11. And I liked Alien, but this to me was just like, really? Like, this was the direction you wanted to go? And then I rewatched this a few times, and I kind of like the space jockey idea. I really like the idea that we're from some big, jacked, crazy dude that just doesn't even care about us. We show up to tell him about us, and he tries to kill all of us. Doesn't care. He just doesn't care. I love that concept, but I just feel it was a pretty big missed opportunity, and they panicked with the Prometheus name because this didn't get the recognition they were hoping, so they went right back to Alien and called it Covenant and gave us all the fan servicey shit that we didn't really need. So I appreciate that this went down a different road, but also don't like how different. You know, there was a balance, and it kind of overdid it overdid itself. That's what I would say. Alien vs. Predator 1 and 2. I already owned the second one, but I wanted to get the first one just so I could complete the Alien Predator. I need to get the third Predator still, and I won't buy any of the new stuff. Prey is just complete dog shit. I don't care what any of you say. And the newest Predator, or the Predator with Shane Black, the one before Prey, I'm not buying that. But Alien vs. Predator, as bad as these are, because they are bad. I don't know, something about like a late night movie if you're drunk and you're hanging out with friends is kind of what this is. Paul W.S. Anderson cannot direct a movie to save his life. I don't know what the guy's problem is, but it's all about the shaky and the close-up and the... I can't stand it. You know, if this movie filmed itself a little more serious and you got to see what was happening more often, I'm talking about the first one primarily, you might be able to enjoy it, but you can't see what's happening 95% of the time. And when you do see what's happening, it's terrible CGI blood and terrible CGI. So it's a really big missed opportunity, these movies. But I still want to own them because I'm a completionist and I can't explain myself. Mostly because I bought this, the Alien Anthology, which I also did not need really, but I have a problem. We are all aware of this. If you collect movies, you have an issue. I don't know where everyone's issues come from, but mine is just, I have a hole to fill, I guess, and mine is with movies. So the Alien Anthology comes with the first 4 movies, which to me is all I really give a shit about in the Alien franchise. So there's the first, which is the best. Aliens, which has always been my favorite, but as I get older, I like the first one more. So there's that. Alien 3, which I don't know. I have to rewatch it, but everything I remember about this movie I hated. And and David Fincher refuses to really mention it, so it's probably not great. And the Alien 4 was one of the worst movie experiences I've had in my life, so I just really wanted to own this so I could have the ability to watch all 4. I only own the first 2 individually. You can't buy Alien 3 or 4 on Blu-ray by themselves. They love doing that, where you have to buy a pack like Beverly Hills Cop. You can buy the first one, but you gotta buy the pack to get all 3. I put it in backwards again. I always do this. Anyways, so that's the video. Thank you for watching, and I will be back to talk in my next video, whatever it will be. And take care. See you guys then.